What's good, everybody? It's your boy David over here. I want to talk to you guys about this notion of earth magic and what we call black magic and what that really is. And I was just thinking today, about how the trees are really helping me and how I'm cooking right now. How we're often told that no, they're not ready for that one. What are they ready for right now? Let's see. This distinction between white magic and black magic. How there's high magic and low magic, and how rituals and beliefs and ceremonies and systems of working with natural forces were divided into just two sectors, just arbitrarily based on the principalities that need be at that time need to have in order to, where they like, I think even the forces that used these vessels, who brought about these colonial systems, they brought about these systems on both sides of colonial, they use racism as a tool by not only dividing all Earth's medicine and all Earth magic principles and all working with the Earth into black magic, and all working with their religion and all that stuff, and just focusing on the belief systems as white magic. It also became a vehicle to separate the races and just, yeah, it was like a diabolical plan by whatever beings inhabited these people, all of us, all of them, and whatever vestiges we still carry, how we separate us into black and white magic, where pulling from source and from above is good, and pulling from below and from the earth, which is our mother, is bad. And that leads into saying the right hand path is good and the left hand path is bad, but the right hand connects to the masculine side of the brain, the left side, and the left hand connects to the right side of the brain, the feminine. So to say the right hand is good and the left hand is bad, right is white magic and left is black, is to basically say that the feminine is wrong, that the earth is wrong, that our bodies and our feelings are wrong, that the wet and wild is wrong, and to basically call that and say it's the underworld, and say the underworld is full of hell and brimstone, but the above world is full of sky and clouds. They're taking a natural principle, a little bit of truth with a lie, right? You swallow it because there's something true in there, but the lie will poison you. That's how they get you, I was thinking about delicious food that's full of processed sugar and chemicals. Anyway, that's another example, another manifestation. But it's like, in a way, what they're calling hell, both on a physical stand front and on an internal, psychological, psychospiritual, mental front, is a description of what happens when you follow that belief system, where, just starting with the physical right now, underground, hot, full of decaying and death. It's dark underneath there. It's dirty. Things are stuck underneath there and don't move very much. Look at planet Earth. You go underground. Now it's winter right now. Well, it's actually spring. It's actually gonna be spring real soon. It's gonna melt. But the ground, it's pretty dark, right? If you go underground, the dirt is dirty. You'll find insects in there, you'll find worms, you'll find fungi. These are all decaying, these are all breaking things down. If you get deeper underground, like maybe 10 feet, something like that, it starts to get hot from the pressure. And you go further and further down, it gets hotter and hotter until you're burning. And to say that that's hell, that's the earth we live on. That's the physical body of our mom. Like, the death and decay is necessary. We need to have that. And when you take this into sight, when people are afraid of that, they don't go underneath. They just say, "Oh no, don't look underneath there. Don't look in the oceans." The oceans are the least explored part of the universe, the human mind right now. So the emotions, being the oceans, water, and the earth being the ground, have been wronged. The sky, being air, and the fire, being the sun, have been worshipped as good. We need all those things, right? But when it comes to psychology, this belief system that opening up your subconscious and meditating leads you to go to hell, and it's the devil in there, and don't look at that. What happens when you take a natural process of transformation, which requires death and rebirth? You take that natural process and you just suppress it and use an ideology system that says, look, stay in the sunlight, stay in the good, stay in the positive, don't ever look at the negative emotions. You basically end up in this kind of static state where whatever's trying to change and decay in you, aka whatever the fungi and the mushrooms in you, for that metaphor, which are good, mushrooms are good for you, they connect the trees and make sure everything communicates in harmony, and they decay and break things down, need to be broken down. They're very selfless and do that for us. If you take that process now, reverse it internally, reflect it internally as above, so within, internally, and you stop that process, because the process of decay and transformation and death to new life, which is change and growth and evolution of nature, if that process, it requires heat to break things down. It requires pressure. It requires going into the darkness and being underground. When you take that process and you stop it, all the identities you have, the belief systems, the parts of yourself you've avoided and repressed and wronged through whatever belief systems you took on, religious or societal, they get stuck in this state where you don't let them transform, so the heat can't actually be dissipated. And it creates this pressurized container in your subconscious underneath the prison you built, where it gets hotter and hotter, and all the things that are trying to die and be reborn to something new because they have to move on, they end up staying like, imagine just something that doesn't die, but it's burning all the time. That looks like a demon, right? Something that you deny love. You deny its change, its transformation, divine evolution. It's just gonna burn away, but never disappear. And let's get hotter and harder. So when you finally do look underneath the hood to see what's in your subconscious, after growing up in these belief systems and these churches and these societal measures and these schools and stuff, you grow up in that kind of stuff, and you find out that what you're gonna find is a very imprisoned, very unhappy, very vengeful, hateful, angry, demonic like aspect of yourself that's like, oh fuck you abandoned me. And then you'll use your belief system to say, oh see, I saw darkness, I felt negative emotions, aka it's all what you haven't processed in your own body, in your maternal, physical, paternal, because the the false paternal has created patterns in your mind to keep you from going what's underneath inside and facing that. Then you see devils and demons inside you, which are just you, that you haven't loved, and you will then confirm, yep, see, hell is real. And then this whole battle, there's just a false pattern, a false idea of between light and dark. It's just your conscious mind trying to fight your unconscious mind. Your mind trying to fight your body. And when your mind tries to fight your body, that's the breeding ground for psychosomatic illnesses. And when that happens, well, then you start fucking developing mental disorders, DSM manual mental disorders, and you just develop psychosomatic illnesses. You might develop cancer or lupus or something, and it's just like, what the fuck, like. But what happens when we stop? When we face the maternal, the matter, the matter, the dark mother, the maternal feminine aspect of our bodies and our subconscious, which is the feminine, which is the chaos, which is the force of creative and change within. When you face it with love, you're gonna stop feeling a lot of negative emotions, and not everyone's ready to face that. Right? Not everyone knows how to face that. Everyone's been told to suppress it, and if that's what you want to do, and that's where you're at, hey, I'm not here to judge you. You need to do what you need to do. I wasn't ready to face these things for a while too, and little by little, whatever we're ready to do, but whatever is ready to do, we need to allow ourselves to feel that, if you so choose. But I choose to feel what wants to come up, and by like a unhealthy prisoner that was abandoned and locked away in your subconscious for generations, throughout all of millennia, and now it's been showing up through you as the next link in your ancestral line. You could be the one to break this. At first, it'll feel scary. It'll feel like something's attacking you. But all these demons want you to say, they're just looking for you to say, just accept me as a part of you, because I am a part of you. And whether you look at and eventually you realize that the demons and angels were always on the same team, and that there really were no demons and angels. We just created that divide. There really was no black magic and light magic. Light magic being, working with the higher dimensions, and black magic or low magic, let's just make it to high and low. High magic being working with energy in the higher dimensions, the astral, the multi-dimensional, fifth dimension, sixth and beyond. And then low magic working with the earth, working with like 3D, working with like time and space, earth, the trees, nature, working with the elemental body, working with crystals, working with the ground. The difference between high and low magic is literally just like, let's say for example, 3D, this physical earth, time, space, let's call that visible light. Well, just for the sake of the metaphor, we'll say that's a visible light spectrum. You want to work in higher dimensions, you go to ultraviolet, then you go into X-rays. To say that working with only X-rays and ultraviolet and gamma rays is right, and to say that working with infrared, visible light, and microwaves and radio waves is wrong, it's just basically cutting out a good chunk of the whole. You cut like probably half of the whole light spectrum. You know, you're cutting out a good chunk of it. And so, a lot of spiritual people, mine included, I went through this myself, and I'm out of that now. End up ungrounded because this ideology of trying to escape Earth in an attempt to leave the programming of the system and of the mind, or the matrix of the mind, the false patterns of the mind, false patterns of the mind, Saturn, to remove that, we end up kind of dismembering our bodies and just kind of focusing only up here, and you end up with a bunch of like homeless hippies who are halfway there. They've left the false systems of abundance and the false systems relating to Earth, but they haven't fully embodied the new systems of coming to Earth, or the old systems really, because it's just ancient how to live here. We have ancient wisdom for billions of years in our bodies about this human technology ain't new. It's very, very, very ancient. And we just don't embody that because a lot of the belief systems find their way into a lot of New Age spiritual theories, which have some truth in them because part of them is part of evolution, but carry some of the old indoctrination of the earth is bad and the body is bad and don't focus on the lower three chakras, and anything related to sex or anything related to money or resources or related to having power is wrong, and they just end up ungrounded and they don't come back. And the hardest part is to come back, but a lot of them will start by, okay, I'm going to work only in the high dimensions and try and ground it in. And now that's part of the process. Part of the process is working in the higher dimensions to get the higher knowledge, then downstepping that frequency, slowing it down so it can reach your body and actually embody into your physical vessel. But part of it also is just allowing yourself to hold on. Okay, this is where I stop. Thank you for listening. I love you.